All right, everyone, we will go ahead and get started with Coach Kelly. Coach, if you'd like to begin.
Yeah, we're excited about the victory. Winning's hard. Proud of our football team. Their preparation was outstanding during the week. I thought they came in with uh, a mindset that was such that they knew that this was not a 1-3 football team that they were playing today. And Louisville played extremely well. Coach had them ready to play. They took care of the football. I think I had commented earlier in the week that they had. I thought they had beaten themselves, quite frankly, and they could very easily have been, 4-0. And they played like a 4-0 team today. We withstood that. I think the things that we have to do better, obviously, if you watch the game, red zone, obviously we've got to score touchdowns and not field goals. And then we've got to get off the field on third down. So those are the two things that we talked about. We got to be better there. We'll certainly spend time in those two particular areas and working to be better and more efficient. But there were a lot of really positive things to take from this game. Continue to execute well at the line of scrimmage. Some guys stepped up and made some plays today. We got to make more, certainly. And again, we closed out the game again for the second consecutive week. I think we had the ball with last drive was 8 minutes, and closed out the game. So a lot of positive things to take from it. And it's our 22nd consecutive win at home. I don't want our guys to lose sight of that. And that's a great achievement. I don't think Ian Book has lost at home, and a lot of those guys don't know what it's like to lose at home, and I want them to keep that. So with that, we'll let you move on to questions.
All right, our first question is from Eric Hansen.
Brian, there were some big third down conversions in that last drive, and Ian had a terrific scramble into the end zone. But how would you evaluate his game overall today?
I think you evaluate again based upon the body of work, and certainly there are things that he can get better at. But look, he wins, and I get asked the same question each and every week. He's a winner. He wins football games. I said he hasn't lost at home, and I thought when it's time to make plays, he made huge third down conversions on this last drive. So when the game's on the line, you can count on Ian Book to come up and make big plays for us, and that's a good feeling to have.
And we'll go next to Pete Sampson.
Brian, I think you weren't even off the field when NBC asked you sort of about the vibe, and you talked about, hey, winning's hard. Did you sort of get the sense on the sideline this is going to have to be a post game where you're like reminded the team that essentially winning is hard, that you should feel good about winning even if it aesthetically didn't look great all the time?
Yeah, and I don't even know if it aesthetically looked bad. We just we controlled the line of scrimmage. We controlled the time of possession. We had, I think, 1 or 2 penalties. We didn't turn the football over. I've coached a lot of games, over 30 years. I don't know that I've been in one quite like this. I've been in a 12-7 game when it was, a stinker, and you're like, ugh. But this game was a little different. It was hard fought. It was, again, from our perspective, it was the inability to cash in the red zone, and then a couple of plays that we need to make, right? We got to make a catch in the end zone. We got to, make a third down stop, and that's kind of the difference in this ball game. Or, it looks a little bit different at the end. So I just reminded them the preparation was outstanding. Their mindset was great. But, when you're a top 5 team in the country, you're going to get the opposition's best game, period. And that was not a 1-3 football team we played today. That was a team that played their absolute best, took care of the football. They were -8 coming into the game, and they did not turn the football over. So, hats off to Louisville.
And we'll go next to Patrick Engel.
Hey, Brian, when you sent the offense up back out there with, I believe it was just under 8 minutes left, how confident were you, or how kind of did you think that you would be able to milk the clock all the way down like you guys were able to?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way the game had gone, I felt pretty confident that we were going to be able to, at the very least, put our defense in a very good position. You know, we weren't going to leave them out there where they would have to defend a short field. So, you know, we had been running the ball with pretty good effectiveness. We clearly had an idea of what we needed to do in that drive. We slowed our tempo down quite a bit. We let that clock, tick down. And again, I think there was a lot of confidence amongst all the guys that were out there, including the coaches, that we were going to be able to, get that thing in our favor.
And we'll go next to Chris Heidel.
Congratulations, Coach Kelly, on the win.
Thank you.
Is this one of those teaching moments for a team going through the season, knowing you guys played a tough game against a Louisville team, only winning 12-7? But is there just stuff in this game you could actually get some teaching moments out?
That's what we do. We're teachers. We're teaching every day, and there's not a game that you play that you can't take something from it. And certainly in this game, as I mentioned earlier, there's a number of things that we're going to be able to take, and it's going to help us set our lineup, and it's going to help us set our calls and how we move forward. So you're building your football team off of these types of games, these kind of gritty, tough games where games in the balance in the last 7-8 minutes. So. Certainly, they're very teachable, and we'll learn from it.
And our next question is from Tyler James.
Brian, what informed the decision to attempt the fake field goal in the first half, and was it a concern about points being at a premium throughout this game?
No, we on film study, we felt like there was a vulnerability there. We felt like it was going to go for a touchdown, or I wouldn't have called it. Coupled with the fact that that was the time to take a shot at it. So, yeah, I mean, I just think that from our film study, our preparation, we worked on it all week. I felt good. I felt like that was the right time, to take a shot at it. Yeah, I mean, the only thing you can question is the distance. How far it was, but the rationale behind it was that the way it was set up, we felt like it was a play that would go for a touchdown.
And our next question is from Pete Thamel.
Brian, from 30,000 feet here, you're about a third of the way through this season, and you're in the top 5, like you said. You're 4-0. You maybe haven't had a top 10, top 15 type test, but you have been tested. Just where do you think this team is right now, about a third of the way through this race?
Boy, I think it's really early. We're still developing our wide receivers. We're still developing from a defensive standpoint our personnel back. We had a number of defensive players out. I think it's almost game 2 for us in a sense. Because of our stop and then restart. So pretty early in the season for us. We're going to be a better football team as we continue to grow and develop. So, yeah, this team is nowhere near where it can be and where I think it will be. But we know that we're going to have to improve in certain areas on the offensive side of the ball and defensively, and in particular the 2 areas I mentioned. We've got to make some plays, to be more efficient in scoring touchdowns in the red zone. So that's playmakers making plays, and then defensively getting off the field on third down. Those 2 areas will be areas of great focus moving forward.
And our next question is from Dylan Sin.
Yeah, hey Brian. Ben Skoranek had 2 catches today, both of them on 3rd down, 4 first downs. How important can he be as that kind of receiver, kind of a safety blanket late in the series?
Yeah, I mentioned him in post game. Ben had been certainly somebody that we were counting on, and he's been injured really and hasn't been able to fully engage. And it's nice to see him contribute. I know he's excited. And I don't know that he wants to be called a safety blanket, but he's certainly a guy that we're going to count on moving forward. And it's good to see him back out on the field contributing, and he'll be a guy that will continue to improve for us and make plays for us.
And we'll continue with Adam Rittenberg.
Hey, Brian, what's the key to making more big plays going forward? Or did Louisville do something to kind of limit that ability for you guys today?
Well, I mean, there's a 30-mile-an-hour wind. That doesn't necessarily help. No excuse. They had 30-mile winds too. But, they weren't as explosive as an offensive as they normally are. The weather conditions weren't great today and conducive for that. But, it's like anything else, when you're dealing with a team that loads the box, you got to make some plays on the perimeter. Kevin Austin's got to make more plays for us. Ben Skoranek's got to make more plays for us on the outside. Javon McKinley's got to make more plays for us on the outside. Braden Lindsey was limited today with a soft tissue injury. He's got to make more plays. So those guys have to, be involved. And, today wasn't probably the best day for that, but those guys got to make more plays on the perimeter for us because we're making, we're running the ball effectively in us, and we're getting some good play from the tight ends. Those guys got to continue to grow, and they are. They're working hard in practice, and Ian's got to get them the football, and that will be something that we continue to focus on, and I'm quite certain they're going to get there.
And our last question will be from Tim O'Malley.
Coach, in a game where both teams had just 7 offensive possessions, what adjustments are you making in the contest where you realize you're probably not going to get to unleash everything you have on Louisville's defense?
Well, obviously we knew that this was, a game that was going to center around taking care of the football, making good decisions, and play calling, field position. So you're just making sure that you're not putting yourself in a position where you leave yourself vulnerable to, a turnover or a sack fumble or something that can change the momentum in the game. So, you're making sure that you're protected, your edges. You saw a lot of 2 tight ends because it's a 3-4 defense. You want to protect your edges. We went with a lot more 6-man protections. So you're very cognizant of those types of things in a low-scoring football game in which we were part of today.
All right, that's all we have for you. Thank you very much, Coach.
Great. Thank you.